It's Mundo Monday. Do you know what the most popular food in the whole world is? It's not pizza. A couple of weeks ago, in our story, The Day You Begin, this girl told us the answer because she had some in her lunchbox and didn't understand why the other kids thought it was weird. Do you remember? It's rice. September is National Rice Month. In the United States, rice is becoming more popular in recent years, but for much of the rest of the world, rice has been a staple food, a necessity for thousands of years. Rice comes from the seed parts of a kind of grass, not yard grass, but grain grass, grown tall and left to flower because that's where the grain to eat comes from. In ancient times, all around the world, people cultivated these grain grasses, trained them to grow to make more grain to eat. And in many parts of the world, people grew rice-like grains, but what we know as rice today was first grown by humans in West Africa and in China. The West Africans incorporated their rice into their meals, but the Chinese version of rice took over the world. People started growing rice all over Southeast Asia, and people started eating rice anywhere traders would travel, until rice became popular in the Middle East and Europe too. And when European colonists conquered the Americas, they brought rice with them, which was adopted by indigenous people throughout Latin America too. Enslaved West Africans now incorporated the recipes they developed with their own African rice into the Asian-style rice of their captors, making all kinds of new cuisines. Most people think of plain white rice and say, "What's so exciting about that?" But rice can be long grain, medium grain, or short grain. The shorter the grain, the stickier it is. Or come in different colors when the bran is included, or be served in different colors depending what spices are mixed in. And even plain white rice can be topped with any combination of stewed or stir-fried meats and vegetables, or fried together with all your leftovers to make savory fried rice. Simply combining rice with a legume like beans or peas will make a complete protein, almost a full meal on its own. This is very popular in Latin America. Rice can be made into plain porridge like Japanese kayu, which makes a soft comfort food for when you're not feeling well. Or that porridge can be sweetened up with chocolate like Filipino camporado, or made into a pudding like Danish risalamanda, Portuguese arroz doce, or French riz au lait. There are also rice pastries like Karelian pasties in Finland, Ristart in Belgium, Suman in the Philippines. Or there are savory rice pastries made with sticky rice and more dinner-like foods molded or rolled together, most famously sushi in Japan. Some cultures have developed their own unique ways of preparing rice that they are known for, like Italian risotto, Middle Eastern pilaf and tahdig, West African jollof, and Mexican arroz rojo. There are specialty rice stews like Spanish paella, Indian biryani, and New Orleans jambalaya. Rice is eaten all over the world, and it is grown in almost as many places, but it still grows best in Southeast Asia, where it was born. In today's story, we'll travel to a sawah, or a wet rice field, in Indonesia to see how rice is grown. This book is called Rice is Life by Rita Gelman, with paintings by Yang Suk Choi. This book is found in our nonfiction section, specifically in the section about farming and gardening, because it tells you all about how rice is grown. Or it could go in the animal section, because it's going to tell you all about the different animals that live here in the sawah. Or it could be found in the 900 section about Indonesia and Bali. But it also could be in a different section of the nonfiction section because it's got poetry on every page about all the things that are found in the sawah. There's a poem on each page, and there is a little paragraph of information that tells you about what is happening at this time of year in the sawah to grow the rice. I will read you the poems, and I will read the informational text. And that's how you know which is which. So let us begin. Rice is life. It actually starts with an information part. I'm going to read this part. It's the beginning.
Are you sure you don't need me to read that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Bali is a small island in the country of Indonesia. A traditional Balinese family eats rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They mound the rice, called nasi, into the middle of a bowl, and on top of the rice they'll put small amounts of vegetables, fish, eggs, peanuts, pieces of meat. Rice is the meal, everything else is just flavoring for the rice. If you ask the Balinese what they ate for dinner, or lunch, or breakfast, they will almost always answer you with one word: nasi. Most of the rice in Bali grows in a sawah, or a wet rice field. Wherever you look, there are sawahs. Where there are sawahs, there is always water. Bali is an island of water, an island of sawahs, an island of rice. In the wet and fertile sawah, where the mud is warm and deep, small and slippery eels live. They swim, they eat, they sleep. The egrets come to get them, picking, poking for their prey, while the slippery little eels try to quickly slip away through the sawah, where the mud is warm and deep. The farmers are getting ready to plant. They are cleaning the irrigation ditches, that's the ditches where the water comes in, patching up the sides of the sawah, and packing mud where rain has washed away the paths. In the hot and humid sawah in the middle of the day, dragonflies are fluttering, dancing as they play. The dragonflies are flying one by one and two by two. The boys and girls are catching him, laughing as they do in the hot and humid sawah of the day. The boys and girls are fishing for dragonflies with poles tipped with sap. When the dragonflies touch the sap, they stick. The children remove the wings and put the insects, still wriggling, onto a bamboo skewer. Later, the children will cook them over a fire. In Bali, dragonflies are tasty snacks. Have you ever had a dragonfly? Then don't knock it. As the sun sets in the sawah and the sky is purple-red, a child and his mother watch while bats fly overhead. Bats are looking for mosquitoes. They're eating as they fly, flapping, darting, swooping, moving pictures in the sky, above the sawah when the sky is purple-red. The rice plants in their seed beds are big enough to be planted in the fields now. The farmer lifts out a handful of seedlings and places them on a tray. When the tray is filled, he begins planting. In the gray and dreary sawah, where the wind and rain are stinging, there's a black and leggy spider, big and sprawly, bravely clinging. Pounded by the water, staring straight ahead, the patient leggy spider sits, swinging on its thread, in the sawah, where the rain and wind are stinging. The plants are nourished by water from the mountains and the sky. The whole field is flooded with water. The tube-like center stem of the rice begins to bulge. Each day the bulge grows fatter. When the plants reach this stage, the Balinese say, "The rice plant is pregnant. You'll know what it's having soon." Yes, rice! In the darkness of the sawah, with the yellow moon above, comes a serenade of frogs singing out their songs of love. Calling to each other, croaking all night long, while a gentle sawah breeze filter softly through their song in the sawah with the yellow moon above. Spikelets have burst out of the leaves. Each tiny grain is crowned with a flower. A soft night breeze blows from one flower to another. In order for the rice to develop, the plants must share their pollen. In the soft and misty sawah, in a quiet sawah rain, a flock of hungry birds arrive to drink the juicy grain. But the people have been watching, waiting since the dawn, and they shout and clack and shake and scream until those birds are gone from the sawah where the rain is soft and misty. The plants have sprouted hundreds of little branches. On each branch are dozens of tiny green kernels. And inside each kernel is a sweet, delicious liquid that will harden into a grain of rice if the birds don't drink it first. There are mice in the sawah, leaping, squeaking, squealing mice, knocking down the healthy plants and ravaging the rice, smashing stems and cracking kernels and eating as they go. "Get out of here," the farmer calls, slashing with his hoe. In the sawah, where the rice is nearly ripe, there he is. The green plants are now turning golden, and the rice is heavy on the stems. Soon the farmers will stop the water from flowing onto the fields. The sawahs must be nearly dry for the harvest. There are people in the sawah, cutting, threshing, picking, packing. Most are working, some are drinking, and a few of them are snacking. Single file, the ants are marching, working where the people eat, picking up the bits and pieces of whatever food is sweet in the sawah where the ants and people eat. Some people cut. Some slap the plants against a slanted wooden board so that the ripe kernels will fall off. Others toss the rice into the air, cleaning out bits of leaves and stems. At the end of the day, the workers put the rice into bags and then carry the bags out of the sawah on top of their heads. Have you ever balanced something on top of your head? It's an easy way to carry heavy things. In the sawah, while the farmers rest, the ducks have set up camp. Quacking, splashing, diving. Ducks are happy when it's damp. They're there to eat the rice, the grubs, whatever they can find. The herders know the ducks will grow on what was left behind in the sawah where the ducks have come to play. After the harvest, duck herders bring their ducks to the sawah. All day the ducks play and eat. Even if the herder leaves, the ducks will stay close to the herder's bamboo pool. In the quiet of the sawah, near the frangipani tree, some very special offerings are made to Dewi Sri. "Thank you," says the farmer. "Thank you," says his wife. Then they lift their hands in prayer, for they know that rice is life. Dewi Sri is the goddess of rice. The farmers and their families ask for her help when they plant the rice, and for her protection when the rice is growing. As soon as the rice is harvested, they offer their thanks. In the sawah there is quiet. There is noise. There is rain. In the sawah there is sun. There is laughter. There is pain. In the warm and muddy sawah there is peace and there is strife. In Bali, in the sawah, there is life. The end. Now, wasn't that yummy? Get yourself some yummy rice. I do.